Hi everyone, my name is Ray of Light. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a really scary story about what happened to me when I was visiting Florida one year. Before I get into that though, I did want to discuss with you guys about something that I plan on introducing into my channel here in the next couple of weeks or so. As some of you may not know, I was in the military some years ago, but I got out the military back in 2016. And when I left the military, I decided to leave the United States and move to Europe, and specifically start my life over in the country of Spain. Now, I have gone through quite a bit of hurdles as far as the language barrier and just cultural differences altogether, and I thought this might be an interesting topic to discuss on my channel as far as what are the things that I go through on a daily basis and the challenges that I have to kind of overcome and try to get through as far as being an African-American woman living in a foreign country, or an American woman in general living outside the United States. And if that's something that you guys are interested in hearing about, please stay tuned to my channel. I will be updating the channel very soon with different information about the pros and cons and the things that I have just gone through. Anyway, so in February time frame of like 2012, 2013, I decided that I wanted to take a cruise to the Bahamas with my best friend. My best friend, he and I, we had talked about going for so many months, and we finally got everything together, and we were purchasing flights and cruise line tickets and all those things. Suddenly, his family had some emergency that was going on in his life, and he could not take the cruise with me. So on like a desperate whim, I basically asked the man that I was dating at that time if he would like to accompany me during the travel. He and I had only been dating for approximately 6 weeks or so, so we were pretty new into our relationship. And I knew that asking him to go with me might not be the best idea because of how new the relationship was, but I did not want to take any chances and travel alone or not travel at all and lose all this money that I had invested into this trip. So he comes along with me. Everything seems to be going great. We arrived to Miami because Miami is the port of entry and exit into the Bahamas. We get to Miami and we check into our hotel room, which I believe was like the Comfort Inn and Suites or something similar to that type of hotel setup. The hotel is huge. It has 2 different towers. It has one east tower and one west tower. Now both towers I think have about 10 floors, and there's also some rooms that are on the lower level where the check-in desk is. And upon arrival, when we receive our room was in the lower level on the main floor. So we get to the hotel room and you know, everything's great. We stay in Miami for 2 days, 1 day there to rest and also leave the next morning to go to the Bahamas. And the second time that we stayed there, it was actually coming back from the Bahamas and resting before we got onto our flight to go back to New Mexico. So like I said, the first day goes great. We go to the Bahamas the very next day. We enjoy our 3-day vacation. And then on the 4th day, we arrive back into Miami and we go back to the same hotel, but we go to a different hotel room. Now this is when things get a little unexplainable. When we get our keys to go to our room, we're located, I believe, on the east tower on like the very top floor. And I kind of thought that was odd because it is in the middle of February, so tourism is not very popular at that time frame. So I was thinking that we were going to be somewhere closer to the main entrance, like the main floor, because there wasn't many people, but they put us there instead. We get into the elevator and we go up to the 10th floor or whatever floor it was very high up. And I remember thinking as soon as we got up into the elevator how the air felt really heavy and kind of grim and depressing. Like it was a very different atmosphere compared to the main hotel lobby floor. So we get to the room and you know, like I was thinking that even though I know tourism isn't really heavy at that time frame, that I would at least hear a few people, you know. And I remember thinking, like, I heard no kids, I heard no TVs going on from different rooms. I heard no talking. I hear dead silence, like crickets, the whole entire time that we are there. And I thought that was really, really odd. You know, but we were only there for one night and one night only, and then we're going to head back home. So I didn't want to make a big deal about it. So the entire time that we are in the room, for whatever reason, he and I are just like bickering, non-stop bickering and fussing and yelling about absolutely nothing. And like I said, this was a newer relationship. We had been almost 6 weeks in, and so we were still at that level of not truly opening up and allowing all of our demons to come out and so that other person can see exactly what they're dealing with. Everybody does that. It's nothing new. Don't hate. That's just the way it is. So we weren't at that point yet that we were like showing all of our true colors. And for whatever reason, we were just bickering, and that was totally not in our character. We were still lovey-dovey and, you know, new, and this was unlike us to be fighting as much as we were, to be so new in a relationship. So as the night goes on, we honestly we got hardly any sleep. We were too busy fighting the whole entire time, and it almost got to a point where we were going to become like in a physical altercation because of how bad the fighting had became. I decided that I wasn't going to sleep that night, only because I was so angry and I was so frustrated as far as how the night had gone. And we were going to be taking off to get onto our flight like around 6 a.m. or so. So we needed to leave our rooms like around 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure that we got to our flight on time. So around 4 o'clock rolls around and I get out of bed. Even though I didn't sleep a wink, I get out of bed and I start packing up my things because we need to head out. I'm not speaking to him. He's not speaking to me, which is fine. And I decide that I'm going to go ahead and go out of the room and wait for him in the front lobby because I don't want to be near him because I'm so angry, right? So as I'm leaving out of the door and I'm walking towards the elevator, I notice at the very end of the hallway there is an emergency exit. Now this emergency exit is a clear glass door. Outside that glass door is like a small patio, and then there's stairs that lead down for just in case if there's an emergency. And so I'm walking down the hallway, and yes, it is 4 o'clock in the morning, but because we are in the city, there are lights everywhere, so you can pretty much see what's going on outside in the dark. And I look down the hallway, and I start to see that there's like an outline of a man standing out there. But this man is not like a typical man. Like this guy is extremely tall, like extremely tall, to the point where if he wanted to come into the hallway where I was, he would have had to duck down in order to get to the door frame of the emergency exit. He was so tall. And I remember seeing him, like, because I was studying this guy, like he was very solid, so I knew it wasn't like a ghost or something like that. And he had like this cowboy looking hat on, and he also had this really long trench coat on. And I remember looking at him and I was thinking like maybe this is like a statue or something like that. Like I'm trying to make sense of it as to why this man is standing out here at 4 o'clock in the morning and he looks like super abnormal. And yeah, something like this is like a statue or maybe like an ad for like a movie that's coming out or something like that, because we are in the city. And I noticed that as I'm thinking of things that this might be, this person thing starts to move, and that's when like fear settled in, because I felt extremely terrified, because now this thing that I think is a statue is actually alive and moving around, and I don't know what its intentions are. So it starts moving around and it starts like kind of like shuffling around on that little patio area on the emergency exit. And the next thing I remember is the thing turned its face like away from me, and I could see like the profile of its face. And when I saw its profile of its face, like this is what freaked me out, and I did not know how to handle myself from that moment on. But when I see its profile, the profile of this thing's face, I noticed that its nose, or maybe it was his mouth, I don't know, but it looks like a beak. Like a full-on duck bird beak. And at that point in time, like, what do you do? Like, what do you say? What do you think? Like, there's something outside looking at me and it has a freaking beak and it looks like a tall man. You know, so like I said, fear settles in and I don't know what to do. Like, I'm freaking out. My heart is beating a million miles per hour. And so I finally make it to the elevator and I decide that if this thing is going to attack me, I need to do everything that I possibly can to kind of like quiet myself down, calm myself down, get into this elevator and get down to the front lobby before something goes on that I don't want to happen. So I finally get myself to the elevator, and my friend, the guy I was dating, he's still back in the room getting his stuff together. And so I hear him coming out the room and closing the door and walking down the hallway. And I'm holding the elevator door because I'm no longer angry at him right now. All I'm concerned about is our lives and how to preserve them, right? So I'm holding the elevator door, waiting for him to come to the elevator. And I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to scream nothing out because I'm afraid this thing might come attack. Anyway, so he comes out of the room and suddenly I hear him say, "Ray, oh my God, what the hell is that at the end of the hallway?" And I say to him, "Hurry up, get in the elevator." So he runs into the elevator. We heard him close the door and I'm like pressing the button like crazy trying to get this door to close. And finally it closes and we're just like sweating bullets trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And he was like, "You saw that?" I was like, "Of course I saw it. What was that?" And he was like, "I have no clue." And so we're over here just like terrified because we don't know what we just saw. It was not human. It was something that I have never experienced in my entire life. And honestly, after that happened, I went into like a Google rage and I was like searching and searching for something that might make sense to all of this. And Jeepers Creepers did pop up. And when I saw that photo of Jeepers Creepers, I immediately connected what that thing that I saw out there to Jeepers Creepers. Like, that was exactly what it looked like. And it was terrifying. Like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, y'all, I seriously got goosebumps. It was terrifying. Thankfully, everything went fine. I'd never seen it again, and neither did he. We were fine. We got home safely. But that is just like the most terrifying thing I have ever witnessed. I hope you guys enjoyed my story. If you would like to hear more about my paranormal experiences, please let me know in the comment section down below. Like this video, and I'll be back with more. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Bye.